first half from TSM versus YFP. How did that turn into a 13-11 game? Still going TSM's way, but still very, very weird how that happened. It came down also, Sim, he went 1 first kill and 5 first deaths in that attacking side. So very thankfully, they are going to be on that defensive side first. It's going to be very scary to see how Envy could potentially break through this defensive side. But that's not to say that there's evidence to say that TSM has that weak defensive side. They were basically perfect.
Yeah, this is the side that TSM is feeling a lot more comfortable in, a lot more confident, much more boastful. Envy, in theory, looking to try to isolate these tail ends of sight. And everyone was asking, how much are you going to fight for this A main space? The answer out the gate is a whole lot. cainzera just walking out the back. It's all the train and Inspire through! Welcome back, guys! Envy's here to play!
Oh, baby, Inspire. Love it. But it is GMD. Oh, okay, okay. Love the old heads, the Silver Surfers. Now I'm talking about the color of their hair. Making it on. The old guys making themselves known here with a couple of frags. But yes, good job, Inspire. That's definitely a way to kick off our game here on Lotus.
Yeah, take me out to dinner first, though, next time. I mean, genuinely, what a way to get us started. I mean,
goodness.
Such a balls-to-the-wall fight that, I mean, if there's a time to do it, it's true. It would be now. Like having Kain be that portal to get Inspire in for free, though. Who would have thunk that worked so well? I don't even think Inspire expected it to, but man, did he improv well off of it. Now got that Phantom bought up.
And it is going to be the guns pulling out that first interaction. Sim trying to be a little bit shifty over towards the hill. Unable to do anything over towards Mound, but it is, again, of course, a refocus here for Envy. This team, again, it's not like we've seen any bad maps for them here on Lotus. They are 5-0 on the year on this map, and again, for very good reason. I mentioned the lack of the performance from the Yoru a little bit before in the hands of Sim, but even though that may be a low light here for Envy, on the attacking side where the Yoru doesn't exactly succeed all too much, Exter at least goes even. The rest of the team still pulling their weight. Envy, at least in terms of their setup here, at least in terms of their composition with cainzera, still able to be let off the leash, find his headshots. Envy have a real dangerous setup for this attacking side. TSM is just going to get a taste of it right now, but we are going to see the rifles. And we are going to see the first time where potentially a setup from that attacking side would come in pivotal.
As you briefly mentioned, recoil on the Vice is my hot button issue for this map. As opposed to Inspire's Cypher, who has been proven time and again on this map to be able to kind of freely wander on the attacking side, recoil was not enabled nearly enough to do that. And I imagine that Envy has some ideas for how to properly fight recoil holding down that C side on attack 2. We'll see if they use it in the future. They won't now. They'll go for a full-blown A fight to start things out. Not even poking their heads out the door, though.
Now with the smoke on the front side, they are going to be able to potentially pop in with another flash, and there it is. But Seven does not care. Right through the smoke, able to get himself one, and still has a whole lot more damage to put on. Yes, he's decayed, but his damage is still there. Still almost has 100 HP. Does end up getting taken down, but GMD with an opportunity to extend that advantage here, but it doesn't happen. Good stuff from Bora, though. Bora immediately coming out in the front sides, in the outside. But cainzera. It's been him. It has always been him. cainzera trying to be him in this moment. 1v2 and still has plenty of time, plenty of space to stretch his legs here. On an ISO, not much of a setup that he could pull up. At this point, he's just going to walk through the tall grass, see if there's anybody from TSM laying around. He's going to make the right decision here, and he has the ulti. If he does get one of these 2 kills going, I'm sure TSM knows this.
30 seconds left.
Good luck here to the boys.
The Arcros was just barely off time. That would have given TSM a couple extra seconds to work with for this post plant. Letting cainzera be that raid boss in this bonus round with the help of the double tap. That is now expired. Like you said, you do have that contract in hand, and they're going to proc this door. Arcros a second time. He's in mound. No, he's not. You check him once, but recoil turns to it. And the duelist is only good for 4 this round as TSM will crack one on the board.
Oh, man. How many times have we seen that? Actually, from recoil so far in this game. Today, he's extremely snappy. Recoil with his trade play today, or at least with his reactions in general today. Real sharp. real sharp. Good stuff from Recoil. Scrapping together the round. Easily could have found himself in a tough Mexican duel with cainzero. But yeah, TSM, big round to get pulled off. And you got to give it up to this initial play here from 7 alongside GND. Boris still supporting. And again, it's all cainzero. It's the same story as that first map. cainzero making all of these rounds relatively possible, and that one's the most obvious example yet.
Envy have been put in such a position where they have such a good duelist who is so good at killing that it's better to find positions in which you can let him kill as much as possible than to get those kills yourself. And now they'll do it again. Kayn right at the front of this mound, letting everyone else util dump as he walks forward first with this double tap. There's one on top of the trade-off of Poppin, but Bora, his position's also known. That's 2 for cainzero, and a C-side opened up.
Unreal. Unreal, dude. It's just automatic. You point Kayn in a direction. He just mows down anything in said direction. Love that cainzero. You should work for my dad's landscaping company.
You're just gonna dry
Here comes
ulti.
Recoil. I'm in. I need a summer job somewhere. I would love to have Kayn by my side, not gonna lie to you. But here comes Recoil alongside Sim. Trying to do something with this, but they're not even gonna attempt this. Envy. They've locked TSM out in terms of the eco for now. And it is 2 rounds in a row now.
Wow.
Where cainzero does the business.
And the decision was already made. They, I mean, not even an attempt, unfortunately. Really just waiting outside those exits. Too much on your plate, and that is going to be the tail of the tape for a lot of these attacking rounds on the C site. That's why Recoil's position is so pivotal. Burning through that util is such a fulcrum point for this Envy attack. Otherwise, you will just end up having to keep fighting for that A main space. And as the desk mentioned, Envy's firepower there may be lacking compared to the TSM squad. So having to switch up where you end up, at least at first, very crucial going into things. So Envy wanting to get their reps in here on C-Mount. It looks like they'll do it again this round.
And it's worked. So they've continuously ran into the traps over towards A, but here's that Vice. Vice is going to play extremely disconnected. Off over towards B. It's not like the delay still can't happen. But Envy, they've been getting these sites not even for free. They've been battling little by little, but this is going to be the clearest look for them. There is no TP for them to make their way through here, but Recoil is still going to get shut out. All that util does not matter. There is going to be the plant. Fiora is going to attempt it. And there is the win there from cainzero on the Una v Uno. Inspire might have a couple of frags here. Good off angle. And these pistols aren't going to be able to do anything. This was a huge round for TSM to try to turn things around, to try to make something out of their rifles. Envy, all this is going to do is help their economy, help that scoreline extend out a little bit. TSM is going to be running into an extremely pivotal round coming up in the next. They could get fully reset, basically.
Letting Kayn continue to farm these contracts is also such a perfect way to completely negate the Vice and get a free C site. So TSM having to start station secondaries, either in the backhaul or waterfall, which means that your other defensive sites are going to get even weaker. The Jenga tower is starting to crumble here, and Envy already looking like they have a clear path to a map 3 if things continue going well, and cainzero is continuing to frag. I don't see how that would change.
Yeah, but let's see again. What are the hopes here for TSM? Like I said, the buy could be able to come in, and this is the most pivotal time for a timeout here. Yeah, they've been switching up the ideas here. But my goodness, it doesn't end up working out. I mean, of course, it just hurts, of course, that ulti comes around the corner. It's not much that you can really do there. I mean, they had the right idea. Yoru coming in from the other side of the map, coming into the back of C, basically at the same time that the Vice util was dropping. So again, not like they didn't have the right idea, but Envy, they still got a Kayn.
That's always been what it is, isn't it? How the game goes against Envy is you see these teams that have a structure, have a game plan, have a play style, and then they just still get overwhelmed, they still get overpowered, they still get out-fragged. It hasn't been a strat diff necessarily. Envy have still also been clean as a whistle and continuing to prioritize the right targets, and that lets them get these easier fights that they will try to take as often as possible. But at the end of the day, they're better aimers, they're better gamers. That's always what they've boasted. That's always what they were going to get tested on in this matchup to get them to that 1 seed in the playoffs for the second straight split. and they're on a warpath at this point.
Let's see that fight over towards Mound, though. GMD on that front side is going to have the Vice util right behind him. They feel the pressure now with the smoke in their face, and GMD is not going to be able to get a battle. But how does he get that onto Exter? Exter does knock him down a little bit of HP, but GMD, beautiful battle coming in. Kane Zera just swinging on in, gets the information, but it is GMD humbling the young man. Recoil even finding Ion more than enough confidence with the smoke in their face. A wonderful smoke coming in from TSM. And there you go. Finally, the right idea for TSM actually works out for a good round here. But okay, my goodness,
No
what is
way.
happening? No way.
There is no way.
There's no way.
Keep
Inspire
taking
from
those
behind.
shots. Keep taking those shots. Inspire's almost made it happen. One on the
cooking,
boxes,
boys.
two in
You
front.
guys
No
are
one's
cooking.
turning around. That's one. That's two. I crunch it. It's 2v2. It's free C-site. That's unbelievable.
Oh, my head. Oh, my head. It hurts.
Spike plant.
Okay. Poppin'. Is he going to be able to get more? He's getting pinged down. Poppin' with 4, and he saves everything for Envy, and
Station is for
my
enemy.
head hurts.
Let's go.
Good lord, the presence from this man is undeniable. 3 members of TSM, eyes glued to this fade with the ult in hand, stacked on top for the fight that they know they can take. But Inspire, unchecked, unfazed, waltzes right in. He only needs one. Poppin wins the rest, and then he swings back on. While Inspire goes for the distraction dance on the boxes. It's all so perfectly weaved together at the end of the day. You only need scraps if you're Envy. And now TSM, that's what they're working with this round.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Paper clips and pins here at best, and sticks here for the team of TSM. But yeah, 7 is going to be on that front side. He has another player right behind him, and it is just going to be a hopeful little sweep here for one of these sheriffs. It doesn't work out, though. Here comes the
Good
rest
attempt,
of Envy.
One enemy remaining.
Okay. All right, cool. Exter. Love the stat padding, buddy. Love the stat padding. He was maybe looking a little rough around the edges, but not anymore. The egg has not been cracked just yet. Recoil. 1v3. Just trying to take away a couple of these guns. The eco battle here for Envy is definitely not out of the way yet. The half is still far from over. They have to get back to even strength here, both of these teams. And Recoil doesn't even opt to go into the side options here. 6-1 going towards Envy's side. We already saw a timeout coming in from TSM during this half. It's going to have to be a nasty, nasty wake-up call for this team. Again, the right idea has been there for this TSM defensive side. But how does Envy keep finding these gaps?
Yeah, talking about those previous 2 rounds where TSM responded the right way, and that's early. GMD on that one-way for the previous round, and then 7 on this Marshall for this round to get that opening frag in a moment where Envy don't expect. And then they get a great intercept play with the util dump once Envy go for their HP, and they win that fight too. But at the end of the day, first it's a wraparound from Inspire that fixes things, and this time it's the gun dip that still persists.
This is the first person to be Yoru already in the back lines. Cloten coming in. Kane able to get another one. This is just a couple of fish trapped in a bucket. Couple of players stuck up against the corner. 2 players gone from the connector of A. Last 3 from TSM coming in from C. And again, that's a tough one. That's the first time that we see a different look basically here from Envy in about 4 or 5 rounds. The conditioning working out a little bit. TSM scrambling to get themselves into connector. Beautiful ultimate coming out from the Yoru to discombobulate everything. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Simply lovely. You know what isn't lovely? Unless you're an Envy fan, of course, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's 7-1. It's 7-1. It's just a me thing.
With that dimensional drift, TSM, unfortunately, cannot climb back from the 3v4. Despite the Steel Garden online, actually, they won't go for it. I am a little bit surprised by that, but Sim would much rather hold on to this operator and play for what'll have to be a 7-5 at the very least. Already a slippery defensive half that Envy have gotten a hold of.
Huh?
A really rough look
If I may,
here.
I'll go in first. Thin out their numbers.
That stings for GMD.
Yeah, that's
That goes there.
not what you like to see.
Okay. 7-1. Going towards the side of NB. 7-1. Do get a bit of a replay so you can see the madness from Kane's era alongside the Yoru to make their way over into connector. But this is yet another different look here from NB technically. They are going straight into that B site. No look over towards C, but the Tejo could be ready to strike down onto this B site. There is even more utility on this site to try to trap a couple of players, but Exter does not mind. Also with a TP into the back of site, way enough utility and firepower here for NB to try to hold off the back of this site. TSM, no matter how early the rotations are, they're not able to get anything done. And it is Inspire, yet another backstab coming in from Inspire all the way over on the A site, and Poppin and Kane's era continue to clean up. This is the cleanest look that we've seen from NB so far, and they're doing it against such a good team here in the form of TSM.
Once they spot that one gap in the armor, NB have no reason not to just barrel it down and start taking those confident swings. It's got to be Baby Door first every time, though, and you'll see Extra pretty consistently flashing the rest of the team in there. They don't take that, it gets a little more complicated, but all too often they do with the util that they're able to present towards it in the way that TSM can't properly respond in a gap like that. Then it'll be the link clear that we saw go right after, and it's all coming up for Envy at the moment. Another timeout called for TSM. That'll be both used in this half. It'll be desperation time starting from here on this attack.
Hold on, I got a bit of a...
I got a chase going on.
I got a hots on me right now. I currently got 5 stars, apparently. My bad. Apparently, I've been a bit too much of a homer. I've been giving TSM a bit too much reason.
It really sounds like they are coming specifically for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, for me. Yeah, no, guys. Yeah, no, there's definitely going to be a break for me coming very soon, guys. Hopefully, I see you in about 25 years, I think.
It's
they
a
said
life.
it was. Yeah, something, or, you know, whenever that is. But it seems like things have died down here for both the timeout and for my 5 stars. As Envy, again, going to be stepping into potentially a little bit of a different look. I just want to see all of this bag from Envy right now. They've been pulling out, again, the conditioning over towards C mounts, a little bit of creativity over towards A and B, and now they're going to continue to play with the heartstrings of TSM, continuing to switch up that setup bit by bit, still putting on a little bit of attention over towards C just to keep that conditioning. But TSM, their minds are boggled.
Completely discombobulated. Envy don't want to necessarily play with their food just yet, but they would like to make a meal out of this remainder of the attack. Inspire already miles deep on this A. Is he going to swing? Of course he is, and he wins it. Does he do more?
I was looking for all these complicated ways that Envy could just win, but it's just Inspire holding W. Love it.
Oh my God!
How does Kane even get that kill? My goodness. GMD does get the frag back, but this is huge from Sim. It's all going to be on Sim, but hold on a minute. GMD is there. Sim spots the one. There goes the flash, but it's nothing. Nothing for Sim. GMD, though, needs to ace to at least make this competitive for TSM. That's all it is. Just a competitive round at best. A competitive half at best here for TSM. If GMD is able to pull off basically the impossible, still has plenty of time here. Still has the paranoia, but does not have plenty of HP. Not able to tag in any bullets. And Ion. Got the Ion on him. And it's going to be 9-1 going towards the side of Envy. Looking like a bit of deja vu here for TSM the last time they played on Lotus. It's just the opposite effect. They ended up 10-2 on their defensive side last time, but it was in their favor.
At this point, the only real point of strength I'm seeing from TSM is when they're able to react to this early. Is when on multiple fronts you see extra proactivity from these players, and it's got to be specifically GMD, Recoil, and 7 that are going to be the ones to peak first. Almost all of them, most of the time, 2 out of 3 of them, have to get on top of an opening site region and find an opening pick. Apart from that, I have not seen any way for TSM to springboard the multitude of advantages that this defensive comp provides to them. None of the Vice combo, none of the Tejo Breach synergy we've been able to see, none of it works! GMD
Nothing.
Sitting miles away this time for the interception, and what do you think is gonna happen?
Oh my goodness. Again, just going back to just, I guess just raw tactical first-person shooter. If you can see him, you can kill him, but I'm sorry, GMD, you're playing the child game still. That's unfortunate. Here comes the two-man over towards connected, two-man over towards the back of C, and it is all going to be Envy. Exter picks up 3, caneZera popping with the rest. Flawless is the word on your screen, folks, because it just makes sense. Envy has been flawless so far in this half.
We're really entertaining all the Envy fans, man. All the ones that wanted to see a good match up against one of the best teams out of Challengers, and then all of the 14-year-olds that want to see their GOATs stomp another Challenger squad.
I mean, for all I know, they're here to see Ye drop 70.
Dude, yeah. Kendrick Lamar is going to drop a feature on this match, actually.
Oh, yeah?
There's so many surprises in store for this, you have no idea. We're going to keep all the hype beasts entertained.
I'm looking forward to it. Keep the Zoomers enticed. Keep them in. Yeah, let's influence these Zoomers, guys.
Some Subway Surfers footage on the left side of this.
It's you and me.
At this point, that's what I need. The TSM, they do actually have some entertainment for us, and that's actually in the form of 7. GMD, how do you miss out on that one? But Vora actually is going to take out caneZera in the middle of the contract, but GMD, Vora, both gone. Recoil 1-on-2. The Guardian! Recoil! It has been the story of his life here for TSM. He has been the one to push TSM over the edge numerous times throughout this BO3 already, and he's done it again.
A round of applause for the stall game that TSM is able to get away with in that A fight. Just long enough to get everyone in position. And Envy, conversely, also takes their time to an extent this time around. Or extension from Ion is kind of the only thing that Envy are able to hang on to there. But man, oh man, that double kill from Recoil is crispy. And a wake-up call for a TSM that all of a sudden is on their weaker side now, in theory. Whole lot to do here at Envy. They're going to fight out the gate for it. You know it.
3 players for Envy on the outside of A. No entertainment to be had, for sure. Kane on the other side of the smoke, alongside another one over in the outside. Ion looking for a couple of headshots, but it's all going to be popping right now, right behind him. caneZera is actually the one to not get anything. Popping behind Kane gets everything. Ion even picks up his own frag. We're still down to a man advantage, but TSM, they're about to get their shock of a lifetime. Here comes the flank in, and okay, never mind. Vora, 10 HP, takes away Exter. Inspires, gone too! Vora! 10 HP, striking away too, and now Poppin just needs a gust of wind onto Vora. Vora, not able to connect another headshot, and it is yet another big round from Poppin.
Number one, not to keep things interesting, and that's the kind of belligerence you want to see TSM have when they fight it out here, but they have to extend as well as kill, and Envy is just so much better at doing that with this double duelist in tow, and this smoke from Ion is absolutely blasphemous. You can just waltz right into rubble and take completely over. The cleanup from Envy is always a little better as well, and that's all you need to get away with the pistol on the precipice of a 12-2 to take us to map 3 in record time.
Wow. Incredible stuff, really. Sierra's Cats, they miss her for sure. She's going to have plenty of time coming up in a couple of seconds, potentially. As Exter popping up behind the mound, going to be able to pick away at 2. TSM getting whittled down, but it's not like they don't have a chance. They do have Recoil here for yet another big play. caneZera still able to dismount here with the pistol. Still looking a little bit scary. And that's going to be Inspired, being an absolute pain this round once again. Camera around the corner, caneZera able to take him out. Vora dancing around the mound and has given himself actually a big chance in this round. Ion's not going to be able to peek him back over towards the door. Vora just has time, space on his hands, unless Ion shuts down this mid-angle.
He's going to step out of it early, you know it. Stinger actually wins out a majority of that health pool duel. Ion down to a measly 45 on top of the double shot. And that espresso, no doubt, is going to wake him up. Got to control the B site before heading over to the A that Vora's already making a hell of a lot of noise on top of. But another 2v1 that TSM managed to sneak their way into.
And this is the man you want for the moment. Vora has been forced to learn on the job, basically. His first job here in Challengers is to be in IGL. And my goodness, stepping up now with the rifle, stepping up with the gun, basically, just now. And the firepower is there for just Vora. Stinger around the corner. Stings through Envy. And okay, TSM still has a chance in this game, but it is going to be a long, long road to recovery.
Every time this kid is done surprising me, he finds a way to again. These micro swings from this Teo continue to be beyond disgusting. And the last ability that he projects in order to get to those points in the round where his util can still be a problem, a hurdle that Envy have to dive over time and again, and then turning that into fights that he consistently wins, all while he's doing the calling. You really can't sing Vora's praises enough, and we at least have a round or two we're able to before the Envy show tries to get started again here on the defense. Recoil, great proactivity though.
Goodness gracious, okay. Somehow able to get the headshot off of the left click, and look at this TP. They're gonna overwhelm Inspire. There you go, that's what you like to see at TSM. Switching up their setup a little bit, but might have shown a few too many of their cards considering that they're just facing pistols, but they didn't know that. That is gonna be a sniper going into the hands of Envy. But TSM finally with a bit of space here to show off their attack side. Attack side that floundered the last time we saw it. Again, long, long road. You could just keep throwing out risk after risk after risk here at TSM to try to shock the system of TSM. Next round is going to be a big rifle round. It's going to be another reset. Hopefully. That's if Envy even approaches this. They're going to want to take down this economy of TSM. If Envy is able to get 2 frags here, this next round is going to be real difficult for TSM to try to keep even with Envy. Egster is going to pick himself up at least 1 frag, but here comes a couple more opportunities. Egster, Ion on the extremities. 7 takes away 1. Low HP on 1, and it's just not going to happen. Okay, 3 rifles in the hands of TSM. It's a long way to go, folks.
Very safely orchestrated by TSM in that post plant, making sure to continue diving on top of those kills so that Envy doesn't get a word in edgewise. Ultimately very clean for the time that they're allowed to be that way. Really continuing to bottleneck these pushes that Envy is going for. Of course, now that the gun diff has waned away, you'll certainly have to heat check yourself a little bit more. TSM split themselves. They'll go for another mound fight. Very minimal presence here on Rubble. This is a bit strange.
Just a little bit, but you can still trust Ion a little bit, and you still got the util coming in from behind. But again, here Mountain, Extra doesn't have a lot of support by any means, and oh goodness, with the suppression, he can't move. Sim traps him. Extra was hoping for a headshot there, but look at the rotation here for Envy. It is here, and they have the player they want. Kane gonna be able to pick up 1. Spikes in his face. Gonna have to see a couple of players make their way through the cage if they want, and he is able to pick up 2 off of it. Almost able to equalize, but that might be the nail in the coffin. Shot through the wall there onto Poppin. He goes down to 10 HP. He still has Ion on full HP right next to him, and Ion is attempting this, swings the corner, and he's gone. No chance here for Poppin. He still has a rifle, but Envy, okay, showing some cracks. TSM showing some signs of life. I will continue to say this, though. It is a long, long road ahead of us.
Certainly still a lot to do. And a lot of consolations that TSM have to take along with that. No doubt Egster punch in the air, calling ping after missing out on that TP timing when the stealth drone procced him. And that is a pretty bare bones open C site for a TSM attack that's able to speed things up. To Kane's credit, he continues to be the immovable object in the back line. Just shoot head, shoot shield, shoot head, shoot shield, and we'll call it a day. But TSM have enough to get here over the line. No infighting necessary for Envy's backline as well. TSM have it all cleaned up, and we'll keep the run going for now. You have some ults on the table for Envy, but still trying to build up that economy. So a tough purgatory that they're in. Good place to call a timeout on it.
If there's ever a time here, Envy. I was thinking about the rare double timeout in that first half to try to spark things, but Envy, good timing for them as they finally see TSM starting to crack through a little bit. But yeah, no, this situation here for Envy, it is nowhere near as dangerous as it should be here. We still see Envy, a little bit of that right idea. It's not like TSM are cleanly making their way onto these sites. The early battles from Envy are still going fairly 50-50. It's just you are seeing finally that next level from a couple of these players. Again, I was telling you guys, yes, Recoil doesn't exactly have the numbers to back up what I'm saying, but it's purely impact frags. He was incredible with his trade frags in the last map. Very pivotal 2-3Ks in very short situations, in situations where he was the last person to be able to trade. And now in this map, we are seeing, again, little by little, spark plugs trying to fly out here for TSM. This time, Vora, Recoil doing it again for this team. I mentioned it before. I will say it again. Sim, this is his kryptonite map. He needs that spark now. He needs to wake up. Him on the front lines, not able to get a headshot. Still needing to dodge a little bit. Flash in his face. And still smoke in his face, too. Not able to do much. Clone away. He TPs away. Recoil sees one going through. Oh, goodness. Sees Exter. Ion is going to be able to spot him. It's still just pistols on the other side. So Recoil is really just waiting for these players to pop out. But Exter still kills him. Vora cleans it up a little bit. Man advantage back for TSM.
A little bit segmented. That lets Envy get a couple rifles on the board here. So you bet your bottom dollar they're going to fight this a little early again. Now, popping the first to swing and nobody on top of it. That will probably be things done and dusted as Exter now sits isolated alone. Inspire on the run back, still with the sheriff in hand. Exter actually catches the ice hood fight onto 7, though. And so you've got to repeat this. Vora now checking. Luckily, Inspire's wraparound. The homework is done on that, and so it's a reduced to a 3v1 that TSM can swiftly take. Once again, Envy always managed to keep things exciting, and they do actually force open a little bit of space, but after Recoil gets set up inside those smokes, Envy kind of manufactures their own crunch. They're still left at the disadvantage.
Yeah, not to their fault, though. That was a little bit of a sneaky crossover from Recoil, but yeah, the smoke, the smoke's really just discombobulating the approach here for TSM. But here comes Envy switching things up once again. Look at the aggression back over towards that mid side. They're going to be splitting the goalposts. TSM have players back over towards C, back over towards A. These players in mid are only being watched by 7. 7's been spotted. They have the util to switch up to kind of cover up the lines of sight here, but it's not going to happen. Exter goes down immediately, not able to TP away. And Envy's attempt over towards the mid side shut down. However, does stop TSM a little bit, but that just throws up the timing here for Envy, though. Now things have become a little bit unpredictable.
It's been a while since we've seen Envy take a fight like that, and a lot of the time it's just because teams have learned to stick around and win things out. Envy had tried to manufacture some mental struggle out of that kind of fight. In the meantime, forcing players to second guess and recheck basically the entrances to the lobbies, but TSM will get that done, get a pick on top of it, and now it's Steel Guard in the A site to fully confirm it.
Spike planted. My ult's ready.
Finds himself safely here into sight, but here comes the approach. Kane's on the other side. Sims right behind him and is going to throw a flash right in his face. Good dodge, and goodness, okay, Kanzera still able to get the frag there, and Sim is going to get overwhelmed by Inspire. Wait a minute. Envy already pulling this around from a 3v4 to now a 3v2. GMD alongside Vora. They barely have a line of sight here into sight. They need to swing this. They need to swing Inspire, and Inspire is going to get the frag. Man around the corner, man from behind the box. Wait a minute. What a kill from Vora. Vora catches one, needs the headshot, but almost. The junior does it again, but 12-6, finally Envy pushing themselves now to the finish line a little bit, right before the finish line.
Vora's intuition continuing to drag TSM over the line. 20-15-3 on the 6-12 scoreline. That is utterly unbelievable from this Tejo. His value continues to persist. I really have to call out Sim for this round in particular. The Dimensional Drift ended up becoming quite empty. I assumed that TSM was going to take some heavier fight timing off of it, but then Sim kind of just bottled himself back up to drop. And I mean, Envy is still rotating to that. They're able to take that fight pretty sequentially.
It's a lack of coordination that goes with it. Recoil goes down immediately before really Sim's able to do anything.
Far too much passivity in a place where you should absolutely be like fully springing a trap, and now you got 6 rounds of game point ahead of you.
Here comes Inspire. He's done this before. He's gonna try to do it again, and indeed he does. Exter TPing into the back lines, and he's gonna clean up 3 kills for Exter. This old GMD now, 83 HP. It's not like this old man doesn't know what to do here. He's been through this plenty of times, but my goodness, the young guys gets him. Exter through the wall, picks down GMD, And there's the inevitability after the first half. Envy taking away map 2, pushes a map 3.
Expert Nightfall from Poppin there on top of the full-blown C push coming from TSM to wrap that up in a nice little bow. Egster getting to use a shotgun to wrap things up. That's the only way I can imagine he would want to wrap up a map like that. A 13-6 victory that Envy can happily walk into the finality of this match with. They are nowhere near out of this 4-0 race.
Not at all. And what a wake up there from Envy.